by the child scientist, which is being presented through the online mode. And side by side, we are also arranging some of the interactive sessions like webinar, popular science talk for the students as well as guide teachers to understand some of the basic subjects related to the STEM. And today we have come up with a subject that inspiring children to the innovate. And to deliver the lectures on the same, we have with us respected Dr. Pankaj Kumar Srivastava sir. I'm introducing the sir. Sir is currently working as a principal scientist at the Plant Ecology and Environmental Technology Research Groups at the CSIR, National Botanical Research Institute in BR, India. Sir has does research in various fields like biochemistry, environmental science, soil science, pollutions, remediations. Sir is also coordinators of the ANVIS resource partner to the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, for the plant and pollutions. Sir has 42 publications in his credits, and he's also associated for the green skill development programs on the pollution monitoring, soil pollutions, and green belt development for the industries undertaken to research students, stakeholders, entrepreneurs. So we would like to thank respected Dr. Pankaj Kumar Srivastava sir for his kind consent and sharing his valuable time with us to inspire the teachers on the subjects at children innovations. We have also yes sir.
Thank you. Very good morning to all of you, and thanks for your nice introduction. And thank you to Dr. Narottam as well for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to discuss something really interesting. And I'm so kind of you, sir, Dr. Narottam Sahuji, that you have assigned me a wonderful topic that deals with creativity and innovation.
Sir, thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And in fact, we would like to listen from you that CSIR's that special incentive for the school children.
Yes,
it's a very flagship program, something that how CSIR, being a hardcore premier science research institution, how they are giving an opportunity for school children to learn something and to get the exposure, and how they can also make their career. Actually, that was the main intention. So we are very thankful to you so that you are sparing some of your valuable times, and that gives a linkage to the students in their career and the mission.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And just giving the idea which Dr. Narottam has advised me to brief the participants about the CSIR. CSIR is a Council of Scientific Industrial Research, and it is working under the edges of Department of Science and Technology, and specifically the DSAR of Government of India. And CSIR is having about 39 laboratories across the state, and each one of the laboratory or research institute is being assigned with the specific scientific theme, starting from the different era of disciplines of engineering sciences, physical sciences, earth sciences, biological sciences. And if we talk about the biological sciences, there are many labs like CCMB working on the molecular biology, NBRI working on botanical resources, and CMAP working on aromatic and medicinal plants, like that. I hope each one of you are aware of CSIR and what CSIR and different research institutions are doing for the country, especially in the era of COVID-19 pandemic. And about the strategy, if you want to be a scientist, then you're most welcome. And you have to be innovative and creative, and that is the theme of my topic assigned by the Narottam sir. And for that, there are several opportunities. We are having the different R&D projects. Some of them are in-house, and some of them are sponsored by the different departments like DST, DBT. And the science student may have the opportunity to join us in those projects. And if you have some fellowship like the Junior Research Fellowship, UGC, CSIR, you can carry out your research leading to PhD degree and so on. And now I am just sharing this PPT. I think, is it visible to all of you? Please come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So once again, I'm thankful to Gujarat State Council for giving me the opportunity to join all of you on this occasion of National Children Science Congress 2020. And these two attributes, rather would I say like that, the creativity and innovation are the backbone of R&D and what CSIR is meant for. And as I've been introduced, I'm working as a scientist in Environmental Technology Division of one of the CSIR lab, National Botanical Institute. It is situated in Lucknow. And I would like to have this as an interactive session, rather it is online, but I'm requesting all of my fellow participants to join me for this presentation. Please be interactive. So there are the two concepts in the presentation. First is the creativity and second is the innovation. So what is creativity? Creativity is a basic attribute and it is an ability to use the imagination to develop new ideas, new things, or new solutions. It is generally based upon the generation of ideas that result in improved efficiency or effectiveness of a system. It can be of a process and can be in a form of product. But rather than innovation is something concrete, and we call it innovation as a successful introduction of a new thing or method. Creativity leads to innovation. Innovation is nothing but the embodiment, combination, synthesis of knowledge, and this has to be original, relevant, valued new, leading to valued new product, processes, or services. Slide is changing or not, sir?
No, sir. We are not reflecting any changes on the slide.
It is not moving, sir.
No, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's moving, sir.
Okay. You just close it. So creativity enables us to inculcate new ideas or doing things in a different way and just solving a problem in a different way that we meant for the creativity. And as I said, all innovation begins with the creative ideas. Innovation is nothing but the successful implementation of creative ideas. And the creativity is that process that will take place when an intelligent person is having some kind of sort of skill or knowledge asset with him or her. So it just conceive the creativity, the creative idea, and now that fellow supposed to convert that basic idea, the creative idea, into the innovation for something valuable. We call this like that. So the innovation requires discipline, knowledge, action, just to evaluate the wild ideas, the imaginary ideas. He just think about, and he has to test those ideas, and if required, one has to modify them and Finally, one has to apply or implement those creative ideas in the form of innovation. Is it full screen or not? Hello?
No, sir, it's embedded on the screen. If you can do a full screen, it will be more better view, sir, I think.
I have done the full screen, sir. I'm just checking with the Google Meet.
It's taking time. I think there is some bandwidth issue, so it's taking time to reflect the changes, sir.
Right, sir. I have just changed the layout because for me, I can go ahead, but
Sir, it's readable. I think the screen is readable. It's not an issue, sir. If we can continue with this same method.
okay, sir. Fair enough, sir. Thank you, sir. So, if we talk about the creative process, it can have the four phases. First phase is based on the background or the knowledge accumulation, and one have to be just as an observer. One can seek or gather the information through his or her own observations of surroundings. Reading means knowledge, and one have to conversate among themselves what is going on and what is missing to solve any problem. And it is very much needed that one has to attend the intellectual gathering so ideas can come in that flow. In second phase, and we called this as an incubation process, to allow the creative idea to spur by breaking away from the problem and let the subconscious mind subconscious mind to work continuously upon it, that I perceive a problem and what could be the possible solutions, what could be the best idea to deal with. In the third phase of a creative process, then it leads to the idea experiencing. Now we have the several ideas, like the 10 or 20 ideas to solve any problem. Now we have to discover the best possible idea or solution to the problem in the idea experience phase. And finally is the evaluation and implementation phase of that workable idea, and which requires high level of persistency as well as the patience to overcome the obstacles for its implementation. Because uh, as novel as your idea, the success rate is very much limited for that novel idea. And if we talk about the component of creativity, and we require first of all the creative thinking skills. If we are not intelligent enough to think about what could be the innovative way, what could be the creative way to deal with problem and to find the appropriate solution, if we don't have that intelligence among us, we are not creative people. So first component is the creative thinking skills. Second is very much required the knowledge. You should have the knowledge that to support your creative intelligence. This knowledge based upon your literature, the reading, the discussion, the gathering you have around you. It can be intuitive knowledge. It can be innovative knowledge. It can be the imaginative one. So the creative intelligence can be divided in these four aspects: the intuitions, innovations, imaginary skills, and aspirations. You can aspire your fellow colleague as well to have that creative thinking. You can inculcate easily the creativity process in your fellow colleagues. And third one is related with the motivation. Is one is not motivated to have this kind of creative thinking, you can't expect any kind of innovation from that person. And last is the different techniques which can generate a creative process. First is the brainstorming. The intellectual love to have the brainstorming sessions so that they can sit together, they can have the pros and cons of any creative idea, what could be the obstacle to achieve that in a form of the innovative solution. So brainstorming is one of the technique. Second is the lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is that we can call this lateral thinking as an out of box thinking, because one is just seeing the problem in its own way, but your fellow colleague or the creative people just perceiving that problem in another way, and the solution may come with your out of box thinking. Third could be the problem reversal. This starts with the negative attitude. So, what could be the obstacle? One has to enlist what could be the obstacle to generate any innovative thing to solve a particular problem. Then, in the work plan, you have to just oppose all your negative thought into the positive listing. So, the problem reversal is one of the technique, and the attribute listing. If I can give you the example of any product, one has to list the attribute a product or process is having. So one can easily mark where the change is required in form of creativity and innovation in that particular process or product. And one of the best technique is the scamper technique, is the abbreviation of all these words that lead to innovation. You can substitute any existing process or product. You can combine two different things to develop the third new things, which may have the properties of those two in the integral part of combination. You can adopt new strategies. You can adopt new process to overcome the barriers of existing process or product. You can magnify the scope of any product. You can modify it as per your use, like the touch button and the smartphone is the example of modification of the product. And you can put another use of existing thing. One is just saying that there's the only use, but the creative people may suggest any innovative idea that this product or process can be utilized for different use. You can eliminate the barrier or obstacle in the process. You can rearrange the thing, and you can reverse the use or process for the betterment of the society or end user. So Scamper is one of the technique. If we now talk about the barriers of creativity, because there is the attributes one is having, but in a general scenario, we can come across with these kind of different barriers of creativity, and I'm to take it one by one. First, it would be the perpetual. What is the perpetual barrier of a creative process? It is the prevention of problem recognition. We are not thinking the problem as a problem in our daily life. चलता है kind of attitude. ठीक है, हो जाएगा. We are not considering problem as a problem. So it's our perpetual barrier. Limiting the problem. We are just developing a tendency that it's a time-bound process, and by the time the problem may overcome. So it's again the indication of perpetual barrier. Inability to see the problem from the different perspectives is another perpetual barrier. And the literal thinking. There's a two concepts: the lateral thinking and literal thinking. Lateral thinking, I just enumerated you. It's a out of box thinking. Literal thinking is जैसा है वैसा ही देखना है situations. This is based upon your literature, the knowledge you acquired till now. And second is the emotional barrier. It's a very common. We have the failure fear among us. कुछ नया करेंगे, सफल होगा नहीं होगा. So there is a fear of failure. Procrastination, changes नहीं चाहिए हमको, जो चल रहा है वो ठीक है. So it's another emotional barrier. Fear of work. Most of them, and on a lighter note, the government people, the general public is thinking that they don't work. it's in a lighter note. So fear of work is another emotional barrier, because creative people or innovative people has to do the things in a different way. So there would be the different work process one has to adopt. Lack of motivation, the negative judgment, disliking the new challenges, distraction. So these are all the emotional barriers for a creative process to occur or to initiate. Uh, some we called as a cultural barrier too. The tradition to be maintained. जैसा चल रहा है वैसे ही चलने दो. Otherwise, some people are just talking about fantasies or only for the crazy people. If you are innovative, if you are creative, you can be crazy, because crazy people are conceiving the idea, but they are not actually the crazy people. They are thinking about a problem, or they are offering a solution in its own way. But majority of the people just tag those person as a crazy people, and they don't want to work with those fantasies created by the crazy people. Comfort zone is another the cultural barrier. We are working in a comfort zone. Why want to take a risk, and why want to do something extra? Environmental is another barrier. We can discuss about it. So these are mostly the external factors, like the working atmosphere, the amount of stress your colleague or you are is just carrying it. It can be the stress of at workplace. It can be stress at their domestic environment. The supervisory practices, the conventional, traditional supervisory practices with the top management, they don't want to change it, and even the physical ambience. If you go to Nagar Nigam kind of thing, or uh, I hope I'm not giving the proper example as well, but you can have that idea. Okay. So you can have the idea that the physical ambience is very much responsible for the environmental barrier. It plays as a barrier in the terms of external factor. The routine exhaustive workload a person is carrying, and they are a creative people, but they don't find the time, or they can't develop the mood for the creativity that they are having in their own mind, because of the routine exhaustive workload. Lack of funds. I am a creative people, but I don't have the resources to convert those creative ideas into the innovation is another environmental barrier. Last is, we can say, like the conceptual or intellectual, and it is most common one we can have in our organization, in our friend circle. I don't know about it. So मैंने बोला मैं इस बारे में जानता ही नहीं, तो इसे safe play. Don't ask me about that. Try asking someone else. So these are the mental barrier, we can say, and they don't want to adopt even the creative or innovative environment in their work circle, you can say like that, or in their family friends. They have this kind of barrier in their mind, and it is related with the failure to understand or acknowledge the problem that need to be solved. Lack of trust on this going to be a success kind of thing. So this lack of trust, and these people are less receptive. They don't have their open mindset to adopt or to create something new. So these are the barrier of creativity. Now coming to the characters of a creative people. So for me, it can be 7 attribute one has to have if he or she is a creative people. First is the sensitivity towards the problem. There is a problem, and we are sensitive to deal with. We are perceiving that there is a problem, and we want to find a solution for that. One has to have the broad perspective. broader perspective in their mind. One is just thinking about their own, and creative people are having the broader perspective. They are self motivated to develop new things for a broader perspective. We can have the example like internet, the Wi-Fi. One has imagined it and converted into the innovative product, so it had the broader perspective, flexible and adaptable. They are not adamant to any kind of change. So these are the wonderful attributes one should carry if he is a creative mindset. And original thinker. The creative people are the original thinker. They don't copycat from the literature. They just perceive those creative ideas in their mindset by the process of their creative intelligence or the original thinking. And they are the risk takers. They know that their idea going to succeed or going to be failed, but they love to take the risk to achieve that. They are self-motivated, they are dedicated people, and they are curious to offer to develop something new. So these are the common characters of creative people. Coming to the innovation, we can have uh, that in mind. The creativity leads to innovation, and there are several types of innovation. You can categorize into the process innovation, product innovation, service innovation, and strategy innovation, which can vary in degree of newness that uh, starts from incremental to the radical change in the degree of newness, and as well as the impact. It can be the continuous impact, and it can lead to the discontinuous impact of the existing one and come up with the improved version of impact. So by and large, we have three kind of innovation with us. First is the technological innovation, and primarily we call this as a product innovation. It is actually the breakthrough invention that have the far-reaching, wide-reaching impact to the end users. And we can have the n number of product or technological innovation starting from internet, printing press, electricity, Wi-Fi. These are the major one, and the smaller product are we are considering these as a landmark product like the ballpoint pen, hair dryer, electric razor, remote control devices. They just change our way of living in that way. Second is dealt with the operational innovation that we call as a process innovation. It is actually the smaller, but it is more process oriented. It is actually the incremental in nature by nature, and come up with the improved product with a lower operating cost, new system or refinement of the existing one. Like we have the our water units, we have the new software, and day by day we come across with the new software. So these are the process innovation or the operational innovation. Third is the organizational innovation. Here, the company or organization itself is innovative, and it is not only producing the innovative products or services, offering this new services, innovative services, but they use the innovative methods in everything they do, like Ola, Uber, Zomato. These kind of the success stories for our service innovation or organizational innovation. So, if we want to have, because there's a science congress, so let's concentrate on the technological innovation. So, if we are creative, so this is a flow chart of technological innovation. If we talked about the product-oriented conversion process, if we talked about the technology or market-oriented conversion process, so where creativity and innovation come into play. Inputs are like that. There is a customer need, and there is a requirement of something. there is a scientific knowledge available to solve that problem, and we have the material. So where your creativity and innovation come into play in the conversion, the technological concept you can innovate to meet that customer need with the existing scientific knowledge in a new way. You can have the new product design and you can manufacture that product, and that would be the new product as an outcome of that technology market oriented conversion process. Coming to integrate these two processes, it starts from the idea generation, and it is actually always the two-way process. The idea generation lead to the formulation of innovative strategy. It will lead to integrate the innovation and the working environment, your raw material, everything infrastructure come into play. Then you implement your idea using your resources, and you have to mobilize the resources for its implementation. And after selecting the innovation, now the product or process or service is in your hand, which is the new one. Now you have to market it or sell it for the reality testing. So it's an integrative process of technological innovation. Coming to the sources of innovative opportunity, these are the 7 sources, and we can discuss one by one. First is the unexpected one. There is a product process for which there was no great expectation, yet it did very well. And the product process, etc., for which there was every reason to expect the success, yet it failed it, and unanticipated market opens up. It's an unexpected kind of thing. You can say this: the Facebook or the WhatsApp. They don't imagine. They just develop these concepts, and the community across the globe just accept it. And now we are doing official meeting utilizing these platforms. Second is the incongruity. When the demand grows steadily, but profitability doesn't occur. Some portion of a process that seems awkward, but the producers and suppliers have the arrogant belief what about what is needed or wanted. So it's another source of innovative opportunity. Third is the process need that we have discussed in the flow chart. There's a need put by the customer, and when creative or innovative people are working and come up with the missing link as a new product. Industry market structure. There's a rapid growth of an industry, and if we can discuss, we have this electricity bulb in the earlier days. Now that is replaced with the CFL. Now CFL is being replaced with the LEDs. So this is the example of industry market structure as a source of innovative opportunity. The demographics. We are dealing with the changing in the population day by day, its size, composition, employment, its educational structure, age structure, income, and all leads to the requirement. India is having more of the younger population, so our need for innovation is altogether different with the, if we compare India with any country which has the major population of older people, oldies. So their requirement for innovation is different. So demographics is also come into play. Perception is another source of innovative opportunity. When a change in perception takes place, the facts don't change, but their meaning does. New knowledge is another source, and if I acquire new knowledge, definitely it will lead to the knowledge-based innovation, which actually ranks very, very high in the deliverables. Now, I want to have most of you can have this knowledge about the major invention of young Indian, that come across in the year 2020, and just discussing few of them with you. And first is the Goggle for the blind. Is the class 11th student from Arunachal Pradesh, Anand Tadar, just developed this kind of pair of goggles, glasses, help the visually impaired persons to navigate hands-free. And this goggle can help that visually impaired person to identify the object. It can simulate that one. Then the 2 meters of its field view. Is another the second one developed by the 12-year-old Kavya Vignesh, is a Delhi girl, and she developed a light night McQueen. That's a Lego Mindstorm EV3 robotic kit to help the bees, and this offers a solution to save millions of bees from getting hurt. Actually, relocate them back to their bee farms where the honeybee farming is doing by the farmers or entrepreneurs. Third is the world's smallest satellite in NASA. There was a competition, and Shahrukh is an 18-year-old from the Karur district of Tamil Nadu, and he developed the world's smallest satellite, weighing 64 grams. And the information received through the satellite will help us in building the better spacecraft. And NASA has awarded that, and Shahrukh named this device after our Honorable APJ Abdul Kalam sir as a Kalam Sat. Fourth is the energy efficient car, and in the March last year, in 2020, a team of 15 girl students from the Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University, they won this Shell Eco Marathon in Singapore with their creation of energy efficient car, and they have awarded the event award of IRIS version 2, the three-wheeled vehicle with a mileage of 300 kilometers per liter. Akash Manoj is a class 10th student from Tamil Nadu, and he developed a skin patch which can detect the silent heart attacks. It's a wonderful discovery, appreciated by our PM as well. And class 12th student of Mumbai Cathedral and John Conn School, they built up the 3D printed sanitary napkin dispenser in their school the April last year. And these three innovators utilizing a coil and light sensor to release the sanitary napkin, and it is awarded by the NIF. So, as we talked about that, India is now world's youngest country, and as per estimate of Government of India, with over 60% of the population is under the age of 35 years. And Niti Aayog, especially formed the Innovate India mission to provide a unique platform to display, promote, recognize the innovation happening across the nation. And Niti Aayog is developing a website for it, and the interested one can visit, and share their innovation over this platform. Some of the major breakthrough happened during the COVID-19 outbreak, like the corona. I'm just giving you the glimpse, detail you can read for the literature available in open source at internet. And this corona when actually utilizing the UVC light in combination with some significant design parameters, and it is claimed to sanitize any surface within the 4 minutes. And it is available in the different size like 20 liter, 30, 40, and 440 liters variants. And Vistar is another invention because one has to bound to sit in the indoor environment during our lockdown period. So this Aeroc manufacturers developed this purifier that we named after the efficient granular absorbent particulate arrestor, and it is now being used in the name of Vista air purifiers, and it is now a good startup based at Delhi. Milagro Sigur is another example. It's a robot vacuum, uh, is having the antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral properties to minimize the spread of infection in the hospital and other similar indoor environments. Dosi is a device created by the turtle shell technologies just to help in access the better healthcare by providing the accurate diagnosis of the conditions. So one should have the detail of all this innovation that took place during the COVID-19 pandemic. And coming to the CSIR, CSIR is also awarding the innovation uh, in this country. And recently, CSIR awarded these kind of ideas. I put these ideas that CSIR has awarded as Innovation Award in 2020. One award is goes to for the mobile application of uh, that is being utilized by the rural masses for easy access of microfinancing in the rural areas, and one more as a herbal paper toothbrush utilizing the butter paper impregnated with the herbal formulation, and it's a wonderful one which is I'm going to tell you. Shrija and Hari Krishna from Telangana, they developed the eco-friendly biodegradable pots with groundnut shells. These pots are good alternative to the plastic pots in nurseries. The farmers are using or the different nurseries just focusing on the plastic plant, so it can be the better alternative. And like that, an efficient multi-purpose battery-operated automatic spraying machine, and which can use to spray the insecticide, pesticide in the field, the fuel-saving cooking vessels, magic pot using the black soil, alum powder, moringa seeds, and leaf powder to remove the fluoride from the drinking water, uh, done by the Harshita in Andhra Pradesh, and automatic waste disposal system for train developed by these students of Maharashtra Varda, and some student of Jalgaon, Maharashtra, they developed a device to estimate the obesity blood loss in the real time to help the victim, and the low cost water filter using magnets for removing arsenic from the wastewater developed by the students of Bal Bhavan, Kalkari, Patna, Bihar, and one web application developed by Aryan from DPS, RK from New Delhi, to detect the COVID-19 and other linked diseases like that. So, NIF, I hope all of you are aware of National Innovation Foundation. It's an autonomous body or Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, which announces the about this Abdul Kalam's. They are offering gratitude to Kalam sir, and they every year they call for the proposal for Ignite Awards, and it is basically providing it's a form of national competition for the original technological ideas and innovation among the students up to the standards of 12 or the age of 17 years in or out of the school. So interested one can utilize this website of Ignite Awards at NIF. And we have also developed some Green Planner app, and because in our division at NBRI, we are having Invest Center sponsored by Ministry of Environment and Forest, and we have developed this Green Planner app. It's nothing but providing the database of different plants, which actually mitigate the air pollution on 4 different kind of premises: roadside, road dividers, green belts, and indoor premises. And this Green Planner app is freely available at iTunes and Google Play. The interested one may download it from there, and one can have the information of pollutant specific or the region specific air pollutant mitigant trees, and you can have the detailed information of their botanical names, common names of different scientifically validated pollution tolerant mitigant plants, the distribution in India, the suitable planting sites and method of propagating those plants with economic and ecological benefits, and other relevant information we placed it. So interested one can have the download of this green planner, and we are also doing green skill development program for supporting the self-employment and employment for educated youth of the country for two different disciplines. One is based on the pollution monitoring and soil pollution, and second is the green belt development for industries. The interested one can apply over the GSDP portal, and it is located at MOEF, and year by year they are announcing these dates, and interested one can join the different programs. There are actually the 24 programs being placed by the ministry over the GSDP. So that's all about the presentation, and we'll have to have the discussion or some very pertinent question the student may ask. Hello.
Thank you, sir. It was really such informative sessions. I would like to request participants, if they have any questions or query, they can unmute their mic and speak by one, or they can also drop their questions in the chat box as well. Sir, I was having one question, so that the NVIS RPNBRI app that you have suggested, is there any data about the pollutions of a local area? Because most of our students are doing some projects on the pollutions control, so they used to ask us that where they can get authority data for the pollutions of that local area. So, is there any possibility?
Yes, yes, sir. We are hosting a website, and if you just type the Invest NBRI over the Google, that will lead you to our website, and over that website we are just placing database of different 35 different pollutants in combination with the plant resources. So one can have the data, and if very particular data about for a localized problem or very site specific data one has to have, they can write to us and we can provide them with that particular data.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So I think there's no question from anyone. So we can wrap up this session if you allow me. If there is any question, I love to answer that one. So if there is no answer, then I can leave with your permission.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
It's a very informative and very enlightening session. You have covered all the aspects, including CSIR, NIF, and other things also.
Right,
and the basics of the innovation, creativity, and the phases of the development of that type of thought processings. Exactly. I think it will be very helpful. So mostly our participants are teachers and few are our community science center coordinators. So they are undertaking similar projects of similar types of programs and activities around the year in every district. Right. So I think this should be a good discussion and initiation of that type of discussion. So we'll be looking forward some physical programs sometimes
Sure.
as soon as possible, and we'd like to invite you to our state,
Anytime, sir.
and
Anytime.
and we can have some sort of one-to-one discussion that would be more effective and these things.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you, sir.
thank you so much, and we'll be in touch, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Good, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.